Welcome to this episode of Sunday Inspiration. I am honored to be joined by one of Greater Works' own Minister Shauna Wilson Anderson today. Hey, Shauna.
Hey.
Oh, cool. I am really excited about the topic that we're going to be talking about, and it is around creating a new you. I know lots of us have some good free time on our hand now that we're all quarantined alone together. So besides getting some good rest, which I know a lot of us need some good rest, over these next couple of weeks, some of you may be thinking, so what things can I do to kind of help and improve myself and really take advantage of learning a new skill or doing something different or, taking this opportunity to start searching out what are the other job opportunities out there for me. And so I'm thrilled to be joined by Minister Shauna, because she is a pioneer in the learning and development space. She's been in this space for a long time, and I think she's got some really good tips that she can provide us today. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started with our very first question, and that is, Minister Shauna, as you look at the world now, and lots of us are working remote, we spend a whole lot of time, and I know a lot of companies are starting to see people be productive working remote. What do you think our world will look like after we get on the other side and we're past this pandemic?
Yeah, I think what people's going to do is really value time in general more. So because we have a lot more time because we are working from home. So it's taking out travel time, commuting time, home preparation. I think we are finding so many creative things that we can do during this quarantine, and we're isolated. So many things we can do throughout the day because we have so much time now.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think, the thing is going to be, how do we spend our time? And I know for me, I'm starting to work remote a little bit. And so in struggling with trying to manage doing that, because I've got a spirit of doing a little too much. So while working remote, I've been doing laundry and, organizing my office. So, and so I know a lot of us are in that same boat. So when you think about working in a virtual world or being in a virtual world, what are some of the skill sets you think you need to be successful in doing so?
Actually, I really don't even think it requires a lot of skills, but it does require a lot of planning.
Mm.
To work from home, I think to set yourself up for success, you have to start off by planning your day, getting up in the morning and figuring out what all you have to accomplish throughout the day. I think it's very important that you actually get up and get dressed, show up like you're actually going to work. You may not necessarily get fully dressed, but again, it's a mindset that you're transitioning from home to work. When you're working from home, it's really, really important that you take breaks and lunches as scheduled. It's so easy to sit down in that office chair and work all day long. Unfortunately, your boss probably would like it, but it's not healthy for you in general, and you absolutely need to take those scheduled breaks throughout the day as well.
No,
and last, I think to be successful to work at home, that you should have a comfortable workspace. Your bedroom in your PJs with your laptop is not necessarily the ideal workspace. You actually have to transition to a work mode and find you a nice quiet spot where you can focus on work, maybe have some natural lighting so that you can really feel like you're in a different work environment. And when your shift is over, you transition back to your home life. I think that will help you be more successful working virtually.
No, that's awesome. I love what you said with kind of planning your day and making the work area, and not having to combine both. So that's really good. I took some notes down as you were talking, because that's kind of the piece that I struggle with a little bit. You went into a little bit how you kind of get yourself prepared for the day. So as a minister, and I know you to be a very spiritual person myself, kind of what are some of the things that you do to kind of get yourself going?
Yeah, actually, recently I've had to switch my normal routine. Previously, I started my day, I grabbed my cell phone, lean over and scroll through social media to see the hot topics. Well, quickly I realized that it was depressing me. And I was starting my day on a negative note before I even started my actual work. So I switched it up a little bit. So now I wake up a little bit earlier and I actually meditate and pray before my day actually starts. And I have quickly realized that, and now I'm starting off on a natural spiritual high and I'm ready to conquer the world, and then I can go about my day. So definitely really need that time, just whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, just peace and quiet and prayer really is setting me up for success.
Oh, that's amazing. And a really good point. So starting your day out the way that you want and in meditation and prayer, because like you said, it can get a little daunting, all the news that you hear. And so to just kind of find that center, the same center that we would be relying on if we weren't in quarantine. It's the same center that we can rely on today while we're in quarantine. So that's a really great point you make about meditating and praying to start the day. So we were talking a little bit too about creating a new version of yourself. And sometimes in order to do that, you have to go and get some new knowledge, right? So for those of us who are kind of looking for some new knowledge so that we can figure out what it is we want to do in this quiet time, what are some free or not too expensive ways that we can get that training and education that we might need?
Absolutely. There are a ton of available resources out there. First, just Google any idea that pops in your mind that may spike your interest. If you need some direct tips, there is LinkedIn Learning, there is Udemy, there is YouTube, there is Microsoft. There even some of the colleges like Harvard and Stanford have some free online courses as well. So there are a lot of tools out there, resources that are free or low cost.
Wow. That I didn't realize that there were colleges that were giving away free courses. That's really, really cool and really generous. You mentioned one particular resource, LinkedIn Learning. What kind of things could we find if we go out to LinkedIn Learning?
Oh, LinkedIn Learning has hundreds of different courses, ranging from business courses to design courses, development courses. You can even find things out there like photography classes for those of us who like to take pictures.
That's amazing. And you do a fabulous job of taking pictures. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but I see them posted. They look amazing, amazing. Well, besides being a really good photographer and a learning and development professional, Minister Shauna is also a accomplished author. She has a great book out called It Is Well. I really enjoyed reading it. And so it made me think as I was preparing for this interview that there may be other people out there who feel like they might have a book in them, and what better time than to utilize the free time that you have to kind of give birth to that book. So Minister Shauna, kind of walk us through your process. What did you do to prepare, and kind of how did you give birth to your book?
Yeah, a funny story is I didn't start off to be an author or write a book. I kind of stumbled into it. So for several years, I started journaling, just going through life trials and tribulations, and being a private person, didn't necessarily want to talk to anybody about things that was going on. So I started journaling and journaled for 7, 8 years or so. And God started to speak to me and say, hey, write a book. And I'm like, write a book? I have nothing to write a book. And Chad says, my husband, well, what are you writing in those journals? And I thought, I don't know. So I gathered all of my journals in order and kind of jotted down what I thought would be a good chapter title. And at the end of it, I looked, everything was in order. I had a book. All the titles were outlined for me. And I actually just picked up a paper and started writing. And that's the advice I would give anybody who's starting this journey. Just start writing. Don't strive for perfection, because you're going to refine it over and over and over until you are satisfied. And even when it's published, you can always go back and want to change things. So the best advice is just start writing.
Yeah, I really like that. So just do it. Don't procrastinate. Don't feel like you've got to get everything in order. Just start writing. And I don't think I thought about, because, I kind of journal a little bit myself, and I never thought about going back and looking at some of the things that I wrote in my journal and possibly turning some of those things into, chapters of a book. That's really, really insightful. So we talked about a couple of things today. We talked about the importance of planning. We talked about we talked about making good use of your time. We talked about praying and meditating. We talked about just getting out there and just doing it. What other advice would you provide to someone who is looking to, create a new version of themselves during this time?
Really defining who you are today, and who do you want to become. I am a person that writes everything down. So really writing down who I think I am today, and then on the opposite side, write down who do I want to be. Of course, we all know we're all perfect in God's image, but he still gives us the knowledge and the will to even improve ourselves even more. I like to ask other people's opinion. What do you think about me? What words would you use to describe me? And of course, feedback is a gift. You don't necessarily have to receive everything that someone tells you, but really helps you to self-identify and self-assess on who you are today. And then you create the story on who you want to become. And all those tools and resources we talked about, take advantage of them to help you tell your story and becoming who you want to be.
No, that's amazing. I love that advice. And so I appreciate you taking the time to spend with us in Sunday Inspiration. But before I go, I have to ask you kind of our running question. So, Minister Shauna, where have you seen God today?
Oh, wow. So today, again, I love social media. And as I was just scrolling on my Facebook wall, I saw so many people posting scriptures or doing live videos, sharing their church sermons. And I was just shocked. Even though the brick and mortar, the walls of the church may be closed, the church is within us. And I am absolutely astonished and excited to see so many people excited about the goodness of God just showing up and delivering in the middle of this crisis of quarantine. It's very exciting when I scroll and I see so many people sharing the word. And that's where I saw him today.
No, that's awesome. And I love what you said. The four walls may be closed, but the church is still in session, because we are the church. And so as long as we're still available, we can continue to carry God's word. And so, I like that. Social media isn't always a bad thing. We can definitely use it for positivity. And so I'm glad that is where you saw God today. Well, Minister Shauna, again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your schedule today to spend it with us and to share such great tips. And to you, our audience, thank you so much for joining us. This is a new format for us. We're trying to use a little bit of technology, so we appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you at the next episode of Sunday Inspiration. Thank you again, Shauna. Bye, guys.